Thank you, Adam, and ConnecTra for helping me to set up to teach an adaptive chair yoga practice today. And for those of you who haven't met me yet, my name is Bobbie, and I'll be teaching the class and perhaps my bunny as well. So if you see a bunny in your screen or on your screen, it's not your imagination. Bunny's the real thing. And so an invitation to begin your yoga practice today by finding a comfortable seat. And so sit in a way that you feel the most at ease. It's challenging for our nervous system to calm down if we're uncomfortable in our bodies. And then when you're ready, an invitation to bring your hands together at your heart center. And so in yoga, symbolically, the center of our chest, sometimes referred to as our heart center. And maybe even taking a moment to notice how it feels to have your hands in this placement. And so if this makes you lose your balance in any way, choose another placement for your hands. And so it might be that it feels a little more grounding, comfortable to have your hands on your Buddha belly. And so we never forfeit balance to come into a pose or movement. So I'm going to choose to place my hands at my heart center today. Then lifting our heart to our hands, bowing our head to our heart. Take a moment to set a simple intention for your practice. And so that might be an area of your body or a condition you'd like to work on. And so set your intention with one word, and we will revisit it at the end of the class. And so release your arms down by your side, spiral your palms open, open up your armpits and wiggly fidgets. So shake your hands vigorously. And so if anything I share with you feels uncomfortable, even if the most gentle movement creates discomfort or pain, I'd like to invite you to either visualize the movement. You feel like you're actually doing the movement. So visualization is really powerful, imagination, or you're just backing off a little bit, notice how you feel. Or might be that it's just not the pose or the movement for you today. So you come out of the pose altogether and come back to your breath. And so I'm feeling a little warm now. I'm excited and happy, and also I'm actually going to put my iPad on gallery view so that I have a visual of those who've actually wanting to have that option. And so let's ground through our feet, center and ground through the soles of your feet. And so we want to keep our connection with Mother Nature. We tend to start losing that. And root down through your sits bones. So, pardon me, maybe noticing where your bottom, your bum, and your thighs are in contact with your seat. And then energy moving in two directions. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine you have a thread on top of your head and it's pulling you way up to the sky. Roll your shoulders back and down just a few times. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. So if you'd like, you could take 2 fingers, place them on your chin. And so imagining a turtle if you'd like. And from here, we'll transition into mindful movement. So not mindful, but hopefully mindful. So as you're ready, reach your arm way up to the sky. Then slowly float your arm down. Gentle movement, reaching up, way up to the sky. Turning your gaze up towards your hand if it doesn't create tension in your neck. And then slowly float your arm down. So same side, let's explore adding a gentle breath to the movement. On inhale, reaching up full length of your inhale. On exhale, float your arm down the full length of your exhale. So as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Release both arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. Take a moment and we'll begin the movement on the other side. So as you're ready, reach your other arm way up to the sky and slowly float your arm down. So gentle movement, reaching up, turning our gaze, soft gaze up towards our fingers if you'd like, and then slowly release. Adding a gentle breath to our movement on inhale, reaching up full length of your inhale. On exhale, release your arm down full length of your exhale. So as if on our inhale, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end point. On exhale, a beginning, a middle, and an end. Release both arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs or your knees. Palms face up or down as desired. Maybe even taking a moment to notice which feels better for you, resting your palms face up, or does it feel better to rest your palms face down? If you are tired, an invitation to explore resting your palms face up, open to receive. If you are feeling restless, scattered, palms face down can encourage grounding. And so as you're ready, begin to move your gaze downwards. So you might find a spot on the floor, maybe a few 3 feet or so in front of you, or closing your eyes softly if that works for you. And so moving away from the busyness in our minds and more towards our heart. Allowing our facial muscles to soften and release. Our jaw drops. Relax your shoulders. Relax your elbows, your wrists, and your fingers. Allow your throat to soften and release. Relax your upper back, mid back, and lower back. And relax your legs. And then from here together, we can explore simple breathing exercise. Breath awareness, actually, to start with. The research shows can help with pain management and anxiety. And so without changing anything, an invitation to bring a gentle awareness to your breath. And so maybe noticing that as we inhale, things expand. On exhale, things contract. Notice, is your breath long? Is it smooth, or is your breath jagged? And so place one hand or both hands on your Buddha belly, so your lower belly. Or maybe resting one hand on your belly, the other at your heart center. And so moving into a simple breathing exercise, again, that research shows can help with pain management and anxiety. And so begin to deepen your inhale, lengthen your exhale. And so when we lengthen our exhale, it is calming for our nervous system. And then smooth out your breath. And so that your inhales and exhales are about the same duration and quality. At any point, if you notice your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, know that that's okay. That's the nature of our mind. Simply bring your awareness back to your breath. And then lastly, see if you can add a quality of softness to your breath. So you might imagine that you just tasted something delicious. Or imagining that you're petting your favorite four-legged friend. And see if you can bring some of that same softness to areas of your body that you feel are too tight or knotted. And so maybe even noticing how it feels to add a little swaying movement from side to side, or maybe even forward and back to your breathing practice. And so our breath is long and smooth and soft as we breathe in and as we breathe out. And just for a few more breaths, or as long as feels comfortable, I'd like to invite you to keep this simple breathing exercise flowing. At any point, if you notice your mind gets distracted and wants to wander off, as often it may well bring a gentle awareness to the sounds around you. So I just heard the sound of a car whooshing by in front of our little cabin that we call home. I can hear the ticking of the clock in my living room. Maybe noticing the gentle tone of my voice. And then in a loving way, bringing your awareness back to your breath. Our old friend, our breath. Wherever you are in your breath cycle, let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. Your natural rhythm. So maybe observing the rise and fall of your chest and your belly. Drop your chin towards your chest. And gradually blink your eyes open. And so notice if you felt a subtle shift in your energy. And so we've begun the process of tuning into our bodies and connecting with our breath. And so arms by our sides, spiraling your palms open, and wiggly fidget. So shake your hands vigorously. So at this time, if it's available to you and you would like, walk your hips forward in the chair. So you can come forward maybe about 2/3 of the way. And so one of the yoga tools that I like to use, and I heard a teacher refer to the tools as spiritual tools, and in this case it's yoga tools. So I like to think of them, to quote him, and I apologize, I can't remember his name right now, but he suggested that we use yoga toy box and not tools, because the idea of tools might imply that we need fixing. And so I know that I'm not broken. We're not broken. So yoga toys. So today I have a blanket underneath my feet, and that feels lovely. I also have a yoga mat folded in half, placed underneath the blanket. And so the last thing we want to do is go skidding off the mat or off the blanket. And it might feel lovely to have something behind your back, and this can help with support us, to keep us from collapsing forward, which is really hard on our lungs and breathing, of course, and heart and so on, as most of us know. And so it might be that you feel comfortable using a bolster, which I have back here. But more on that later. So for now, if you're wanting to sit back in the chair or forward, wherever you're comfortable, honor that. And so it's not one size fits all. Yoga meets us right where we are. And today it happens to be online in this wonderful class and an opportunity to hang out with each other. And so on that happy note, release your arms by your sides, spiral your palms open. On inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. So maybe notice what feels better for you, having your arms up by your ears, or maybe it feels better in goal posts. And so I'm going to choose to have my arms up a little higher today. And so whatever your pose is, I'd like to invite you, placement of your arms, to fold your fingers in, press into the palms of your hands. And together we can shout out, I am, I can, and I will. And with a sigh of relief, release your arms slowly down by your side. Loop your shoulders back and down just a few times. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And take a moment to notice how's your breath. Noticing any subtle sensations. And so I'd like to share a quote with you by Matthew Sanford, who I studied with in Minneapolis, and he trains and teaches yoga teachers to teach people who are living with disabilities. And so, yogic breathing. You breathe in a yoga pose for the spaces you can't feel. You don't just breathe for the bicep you can flex. You're trying to get life force into the spaces you can't feel. When you do, your balance increases, strength increases, and flexibility increases. So I'll read it one more time. Yogic breathing. So you breathe in a yoga pose for the spaces you can't feel. You don't just breathe for the bicep you can flex. You're trying to get life force into the spaces you can't feel. When you do, your balance increases, strength increases, and flexibility increases. And so on that happy note, let's come into a practice to help find our balance. And so hands resting on your thighs, your knees. And then as you're ready, hinging from the hips, come forward with a flat back. And so it's not about seeing how far we can go. We just come to that just right amount of comfort and ease. It might be helpful to walk your feet forward a little bit. And then rock back up. And so my intention was to mention today that we are going to be doing some movements that if balance is challenging for you, you might find that if you're in a wheelchair that a lap pad or lap belt or a chest strap might be helpful. And so moving in our own time and rhythm just for a few more breaths. And noticing that sometimes when we come into a forward bend, our chin wants to jut forward. So if your chin's jutting forward, tuck it in slightly. And notice how that feels. And finish up the movement that you're on. Come on back to a neutral spine. Release your arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired, and notice how you feel. And so not about what we look like in our yoga practice. A diagnostic tool is how do I feel? And then when you're ready, you begin swaying from side to side. And so it can be interesting to close our eyes as we practice these gentle movements. Maybe releasing your arms down by your side, extending beyond your wrists, your fingertips. And slowly moving back at center. Bend your elbows low in front of you. Find a space you can gaze on softly. And so straight ahead. And so that can help us focus our mind. And then keeping our gaze forward, gently twisting from side to side. So the movements of the spine. So of course we know our spine matters. If you'd like to challenge yourself a little more, maybe exploring bending your elbows, palms face forward. Keeping your gaze straight ahead, gentle twists from side to side. So our breath is long and smooth and soft as we breathe in and as we breathe out. And then lastly, if you'd like to challenge yourself a little more, you could lift your elbows, so shoulders in line with your elbows. And inhale to one side, exhale to the other. So I like to hear my breath sometimes as I'm doing the movements. It helps me focus my mind. Don't know if it's going to help focus yours, but I hope so. A little bit anyway. And so I'm going to inhale and exhale through my nose. Come on out of the pose anytime you like, or on my count. So 3, 2, 1. Release. Arms by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And allow your breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Notice any subtle sensations. And so when you're ready, drawing your hands in towards your hip creases. If you can toe heel out a little bit with your feet, go for it if possible. And we'll begin what I like to call stirring the pot. And so begin moving in circular movement. So come forward on an inhale if that works for you. And exhale, pressing back. And so this movement can feel a little strange if you're not accustomed to it. So move with your breath. And then maybe noticing that as we stir the pot, you notice the smaller movements feels a little more strengthening for your core. And if we practice moving with bigger movements, maybe it feels a little better. It gets into your hips and lower back a little more. And so you might be moving a little quicker, slower than me. And so this is your yoga practice. And then when you're ready, circle in the other direction. And so bring a gentle awareness to the space in front of you, the space beside you, above you, and especially bringing our awareness to the space behind us. And an invitation to trust that you're being supported. And slowly making our way back to stillness. Release your arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs. And take a moment to notice how's your breath. Notice any subtle sensations. And so moving on, let's repose. So sitting up nice and tall, effortlessly upright. Push down through one foot and then down through the other. So it might be an energetic pushing down through your feet. Maybe notice, can you feel one foot more than the other? And so shoulders back and down just a few times. Spiral your palms open, soft bending your elbows. On inhale, reaching up to the sky. So arms might be beside you, maybe it feels better with them a little bit in front of you. Take a look between your hands, notice your palms are facing each other. If they're facing each other, so it's not about forcing one limb to do what the other is doing. Just want them talking to each other. And 3, 2, 1, release your arms slowly. So when we lengthen our exhale, it is calming for our nervous system. So linking our breath with our movements, roll your shoulders up, back and down just a few times. Shake your hands out vigorously. And so, here, let's do a little bum dance, bum walk if you'd like. So walk forward a little bit in your chair, maybe walk back. You just do a bum dance. If you can reach under and pull the buttock flesh away from your sits bones, go for it. And so feet are planted firmly on the earth, sit bones are sharp on the chair. Lengthen from the tip of your tailbone all the way up through to the crown of your head. So you might imagine you have a thread on top of your head that's pulling you way up to the sky. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. And then from here, we'll begin gentle warm up for our neck and releasing some of the tension in our face. And so begin with simple neck rolls. Simple neck rotations. Our breath is long and smooth and soft as we breathe in and as we breathe out. And when you're ready, move your head in the other direction. See if you can resist the temptation to move your head to its full range of motion. And then we'll come back with our head centered and sitting comfortably, effortlessly upright. Drop your ear towards your shoulder. Release your opposite arm down by your side if you'd like. So we like exploring, pushing, pressing through your hand, reaching your arm up to the sky. And so this is called nerve flossing. And then slowly float your arm down, bring your head back center. And so let's practice this movement 3 more times on the same side. And so drop your ear towards your shoulder. Release your other arm down by your side if that feels comfortable for you. And then pushing through the palm of your hand, reach your arm up to your place. And slowly release. This time, let's explore bringing our hand palm face up, right up to our heart center. So 2 more times, drop your ear towards your shoulder, release your opposite arm by your side, pushing through the palm of your hand, reach your arm up to the sky. Inhale, meet back at center. And come center, palm face up at the heart. And release. Release both arms down by your side. Our Buddha belly is soft. Breath is quiet. Rest your hands on your thighs or knees. And we'll begin the movement on the other side. So drop your ear towards your shoulder. Release your other arm down by your side if you'd like. And then pushing through the palm of your hand, reach your arm way up to the sky. And slowly float your arm down, bring your head back, center. Palm comes face up at the heart if you'd like. So on exhale, drop your ear towards your shoulder, extend your other arm, pushing through the palm of your hand, reaching up to the sky. And slowly we'll meet back at center. Palm comes face up at the heart. And so release or drop your ear towards your shoulder, releasing your other arm by your side if you'd like. Coconut cream pie in your neighbor's or your yoga buddy's face if you'd like. Maybe noticing where your arm feels good for you. And then slowly float your arm down. So release both arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs, palm up or down as desired. And let your breath come back to its natural rhythm. And so moving on, let's actually into some shoulder rolls. So actually let's begin rolling forward. And so this is not a big scrunch up towards your ears. For this practice, it's actually this time contraindicated. So move with your breath. Soft, organic movements. Nothing rigid. And then other directions, maybe forward, up, and back. And so our belly is soft, breath is quiet. And now an invitation to begin to move your arms in ways that you don't typically move. And so we all have our own sense of rhythm. And so you might imagine that your arms are like seaweed at the bottom of the ocean. And so I picked up this practice somewhere in my travels, yoga travels, and I love it. And so thank you to my teachers. And so reaching out now, extend, so stretch into the stretch. Get bigger in space. So I'm going to pull my blanket towards me a little bit. So adjust in whatever way you need to. And so stretching into the stretch, get bigger in space. We tend to shrink. And so now we're getting into the deeper tissue in our body, the fascia. Sometimes gets all bunged up overnight. And so reaching up. And sometimes it can be interesting to close our eyes as we practice these movements. And so bring a gentle awareness to wherever your body's talking to you, and then breathe into that area. And so wherever our breath goes, energy follows. And then maybe noticing where it feels like maybe there's not so much movement, breathing in that area. Pausing. And then lastly, wherever your body is still talking to you, then slowly come back to stillness. Release your arms down by your side. Rest your hands on your thighs or knees. And take a moment to notice how's your breath. So let your breath settle. And so, no judgment. And so, let's practice some exercises to release the tension in our face. So I'd like to invite you to maybe explore a little bit of head massage. And so let's just massage our head or scalp. If you have a yoga buddy that is there, that's available to help you with this, that's great. It's not essential, so you can visualize the movement. Imagine that I'm massaging your scalp. And then maybe just bring our beautiful hands together and rub your palms vigorously. So warm up your hands, energize your hands. And then bring your hands to whatever part of your body you think could use some extra TLC. So for me right now, for sure, my neck. And just take a moment to send some of your own loving energy there. And then moving on, let's reach one hand across and tap from the bottom of your ear down to your shoulder. Or it might be that you're stroking, if that feels better. And then reach back and give yourself a pat on the back. And so even holding your elbow, if that's helpful. So one limb talking to the other. And then when you're ready, let's come to the other side. So reaching across if that is possible. And then tap from the bottom of your ear down to your shoulder. You reach back, give yourself a pat on the back. And come on back center. So arms by your side, take a moment. Notice how you're feeling. And then if you'd like, we'll move forward. So sweep from the bottom of your hand right up to your shoulder. And then sweep down to your palm. So let's practice this a few times on this side. Sweeping up to our shoulder, neck maybe, and sweeping down. And let's come to the other side. So you sweep up your arm all the way up to your neck and shoulders, where you can reach comfortably, and then sweep down your head. And then when you're ready, let's bring our hands to your upper chest, and then maybe exploring with me tapping in this area. So body tapping. There's tons of it online these days on the internet. Encourage you to check it out if you'd like. And so we don't want to overdo the tapping in this area, however. So this is one of my yoga toys. And so for many years I suffered from panic disorder. And thankfully my yoga practice has helped me immensely. And so not tapping in this area can be calming for the nervous system. But again, we don't want to overdo it in that area. And then when you're ready, let's bring our hands to our Buddha belly. And so massage your belly. And so massaging our organs, our liver, our stomach. And so if your belly is soft, you know that your nervous system is becoming a little more balanced. So we live in a culture that's so obsessed with a flat tummy. And really, if our belly is soft, it's an indication that our nervous system's more balanced. And then when you're ready, if it's available to you and you would like, you might want to walk your feet forward a little bit in the chair, maybe scoot your bottom back, and massage your lower back. And tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. Maybe reaching up a little higher if that's available to you, sort of kidneys and adrenal glands. And it's important to keep this area warm. So kidneys, adrenal glands are close to the surface. And then when you're ready, pressing down with one hand. Come on back, seated comfortably, and then let it go. So inhale, let, exhale, go. And so let's continue, and you can kind of lean back in your chair if that feels comfortable, or coming forward a little bit. Sweep down along your thighs, maybe your knees. Coming forward, sweeping down along your shins, your feet. If you can reach just below your toes in the center, there's a sensitive point there. Put a little pressure there, that could be lovely. And then sweeping back up. And so this just in, if you have osteoporosis, coming forward bends are contraindicated. It's one of the few poses, movements that are in poses. And so you know who you are. So an invitation to visualize the movement, or just lengthening your spine, imagining that, and then hinging from the hips, and coming forward just a little. So it might only be apparent to you. And otherwise, sweeping down one more time along your knees, your feet, under your toes. And then sweeping back up. So rest your hands on your thighs, or maybe bring your hands up a little higher. Palms facing each other. Eyes closed softly if that feels comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. And notice any subtle sensations. And release. So I'm curious if anyone felt anything between their hands, any kind of sensation, energy. And so sometimes we're super duper sensitive, and you might feel a little heat or coolness. So let's come into a wonderful practice called Breath of Joy. And then from there, looking at the time, I think we'll transition into moving towards a a guided meditation in your final relaxation. And so, breath of joy. So we want to make sure that our feet are firmly planted on the earth. And so make sure your feet are placed evenly on your footrests or on the floor. Sits bones are sharp on the chair. And we're going to add arm movements to the breathing practice. So make sure there isn't anything around you that you can maybe whack your arms on or your hands. That wouldn't be much fun. And so sitting up tall, lengthen from the tip of your tailbone up through to the crown of your head. Tuck your chin in slightly to release the back of your neck. Shoulders back and down just a few times, and we'll begin. Oh, so it's inhaling through your nose, exhaling whatever way you can. And so through your mouth or through your nose, up to you. Inhale, 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 and so I forgot a piece. So it's 3 inhales through your nose, and then the last time we exhale with a big. And so if this breathing practice creates any anxiety, come back to your natural breath. And so here we go, breath of joy. Inhale, 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 and inhale, 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 and yeah, so come on, seated comfortably back in your chair. And so at this point, I am actually going to place the bolster behind my back. You might have yoga mat, maybe a blanket that you can place back there. And I like a little bit of weight on my thighs. I can encourage grounding, and I've heard that it can help with fatigue if you sit a lot, which a lot of us do. So I'm just going to zip over there. Over here just momentarily, and I've seen teachers do this with their iPads. They turn them. We have the technology. And so I'll turn it back. And so pets are welcome, children. We are practicing at home. And so, of course, I can't hear you. And so we want our spaces to be relatively quiet. Life is life. And so I am going to ring the Tibetan singing bowl 3 times. And I also brought my Tibetan bells today as well. And so I'll ring the Tibetan singing bowl, the Tibetan bells, and then we'll come back to the bowl. And so it's believed that the vibration from the sound of a Tibetan singing bowl can help relieve pain. And so in yoga, we don't separate body-mind. So whatever affects our mind affects our body. Whatever affects our body affects our mind. And so, yeah, don't take my word for it. Investigate. And so It's a little bit challenging to know how loud or quiet it's being received on your end. So I'm just going to trust that it's good enough. And so the meditation I'd like to share with you is by Thich Nhat Hanh. And so he is a beloved Zen Buddhist monk and lives in Vietnam and is in the, what I like to think of as the old age of his old age. And so invitation to place your hands in whatever placement feels comfortable for you. And so if it feels comfortable, you can maybe rest one hand in the other, thumbs connect, palms up or down as desired. Shoulders back and down just a few times. So an invitation to look down and into your heart, see what you can see. And then imagine that you're breathing into your heart. Breathing in, I know that I'm breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I'm breathing out. As my in-breath grows deep, my out-breath grows slow. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is a wonderful moment. And come into whatever position you'd like for your final relaxation. And so if you have a super duper chair that you can recline in, go for it. My only suggestion is that if you make sure that your head and neck is supported, and if you do place something at the back of your head, see if you can make sure that's tucked right up against your shoulders. So it might be a rolled blanket, and you even pull it in around your ears. And so our final relaxation is meant to be a deep, conscious relaxation. And so make sure that you're warm enough, so get whatever you need to stay warm. And I'm just going to come in a little closer and maybe see how it feels to turn this. I have a light on overhead. And so taking this moment to allow your body mind to integrate your practice and the work that you did. Eyes are closed softly if that feels comfortable for you, or soften your gaze. Relax your hands. Buddha belly is soft. That area between our navel and our pubic bone. Relax your jaw. Unclench your teeth. Let there be a little space between your teeth. Soften your lower jaw. And soften around your temples. And soften the area between your eyebrows. Wide forehead. And then silently, if you'd like, on inhale, saying let. On exhale, go. Inhale, let. Exhale, go. If it's challenging to quiet the mind, sometimes placing our hands on our Buddha belly can be helpful, bringing our awareness to our breath. And so come on up, back to a comfortable seated position to finish up your yoga practice. And so we're placing our hands on our heart center, Buddha belly, and take a moment. Notice how it feels to have your hands in this vulnerable place on your body. And know that this place is always available to you. And so the teacher me honors and appreciates the teacher in each of you. Take a moment to bring the intention that you set at the beginning of the class back to mind. And then let it go. And so, thank you. Thank you to ConnecTra for this wonderful opportunity to share yoga with you. And so, questions or feedback, always happy to hang out for a little bit. And yeah, otherwise have a wonderful, wonderful day.